Hello, I'm Ian from Ordinary Overland. Today we have a fun review for you, the KB Voodoo bed rack. KB Voodoo makes bed racks for Toyota Tacomas, and this model here is a long bed full height version. He also makes versions for the short bed and mid height, as well as racks for people with a tonneau cover. Alright, why would I need to buy a KB Voodoo bed rack, or any bed rack for that matter? The main reason why I got it is for when it's not freezing cold outside, I generally have a rooftop tent mounted to this. Otherwise, for off-roading purposes, and while I have my rooftop tent mounted to it, I have my treads on here for easy recovery. Very accessible, they're not flying around the bed of the truck. You can put roto packs, gas cans, spare water for camping or whatever, mounted right to the outside of it. It frees up a lot of bed space underneath for all the other gear that you need to take overlanding. A lot of people are skeptical of it because it's not your typical weld together tube frame bed rack. It's bolted together, which makes it super portable as far as storing it. If you're not using it, you can easily just unbolt the pieces. And the joints are cut at angles that make it very durable. When I first bought my rooftop tent, I took my truck over to the shipping yard, and the guys asked me where they should put it because it wasn't going to fit in the bed of my truck. I said just throw it right on top of the rack. They all were very skeptical and actually got a little bit of a crowd together to watch because they thought they were going to collapse my bed rack. But by the time they were done loading it on with my bed rack, awning, and some of the other things I ordered from that company, they were asking me where I bought it and where they can get one for their trucks. This thing is strong enough that I have no issues putting my 150-pound rooftop tent, myself, and on a recent camping trip, my brother and I both slept up in here with no issues. This thing is solid. It's not going anywhere. I have no qualms with hopping around on this. Even in 30-mile-an-hour winds, which was the first camping trip I had on it, not so much as a creak out of this. Now, with the KB Voodoo bed rack, the owner does not offer a warranty on the products. However, and according to him from the conversation we had, his customer service is legendary. So I decided to put that to the test. I was having an issue with my bed rack where, especially under a lot of weight and stress, I'd get this flex in this support. I don't get any flex on it, coming down this way, but this piece I do get some flex to. This isn't an issue with the newer design bed racks because this slot isn't cut all the way through, so it eliminates that support issue. The solution we came up with was these eye bolts and washers, which I've put through the slot here, and that eliminated all the flex in that support. He also sent me all these extra hardware, nuts, bolts, washers, the eye bolts, and everything completely free of charge. Just on another quick note I wanted to include in this video was the build quality of the individual parts. As you can see in the older model, which is the model that I have, the parts are pretty roughly cut. Everything fits together nicely and it's still really strong. It's just not as clean looking. On the newer design, which came out about a month after I bought mine, the parts started being laser cut. You can also see that there were hardware upgrades. My rack on the bottom has these thin washers that actually kind of bend in a little bit from the pressure from the nut, and the newer rack on top has nice thick washers. And on the mounting bolt to the bed rail, this is the only piece on this whole rack that gets rusty. This is something that's on the newer rack and the older rack, but KB Voodoo has assured me that they will be including new weather-resistant hardware. This just happened to be what was available at the time. Just a quick recap on some pros and cons that we found with the KB Voodoo bed rack. Our pro, that the price point is actually very manageable, especially with everything you're getting with it. You're not having to pay a welder. It's already powder coated. It's very easy to put together, and it's also very lightweight comparatively to a normal style bed rack that you find on other Toyota Tacomas without the tubes This weighs about half of what a normal bed rack is. This being the largest version at 55 pounds. Another con that we kind of found is the holes that are all over the bed rack are not actually for any specific mounts. If you have a Rotopax mount or with my treads, they don't actually match up to any of the holes. So there was some slight modification for mounting. Once again, I'm Ian from Ordinary Overland. Thanks for checking out the review on our KB Voodoo bed rack. If you'd like to see more reviews and content from off-roading all around Alaska, please like and subscribe. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or head on over to our website to see what we've been doing and what we're going to be doing in the future.
Alright, once again, this is Robbie and Ian with the Ordinary Overland. We just have a small message to you about all of our review videos.
We just want to let you guys know that none of these products have been paid for advertising or anything like that. We paid for these things with our own hard-earned money, and we just want to share with everybody else our own unbiased opinion on these things.